Hello, you absolute legends. Welcome back to the channel. It's John here, and with 2023 nearly over, we've got 12 hours left of 2023. To welcome in 2024, I thought we'd do a quick recap of everything that happened in my life, everything that I've got up to, and on the channel in 2023. Let's start. As we mean to go on in January, I've compiled a sort of a load of photographs to show you and things that we can talk about that happened in 2023. A roundup of my life, shall we say. We started 2023, Dad and I, with the smart car in an absolute state. It blew up in December. We spent all Christmas fixing it. And you can see here that Dad fully rebuilt the engine at the beginning of January. There he is, popping the engine back in the smart car. And the reason that it blew up, well, it just was old age and poor maintenance. Dad replaced all the valves, all the piston rings, etc. And as you can see from in here, made the engine look brand new. In the meantime, I went and salvaged some Proton parts from a Proton 1.5 SE LE, including some mats here, some dash clocks, manuals and other bits and pieces that you just aren't really able to find. For some reason, I also bought a trailer. I bought it as part of an auction, an IFA Williams single axle trailer. You can see the trailer inspector there not looking too impressed. And yeah, we ended January with Dad fixing the smart car, and thumbs up from Dad, it being good to go. January over into February, Mrs. Jon Coupland and I got on a plane. We did for a month. We spent our time in Mexico. There we are, jet setting off. It was actually our honeymoon. We got married in October last year. However, our honeymoon was not until February. There's Mrs. Jon Coupland enjoying Mexico on the beach. We had a fantastic time. As you can see there, look, we're having a great time. A foam party, coconut party, and Mrs. Jon Coupland with her rubber duck there. We ended February with the sun setting in Mexico, coming home, and the very next day I went to our local scrapyard because I had got a tip-off that a Proton SE LE, this one here, was in the scrapyard and needed some parts taken off it before it was scrapped. So you can see there just how bad it really was. Lots of people shouting at me saying, "Why are you stripping it?" That's the reason. And I managed to fill the Royal Snail van with lots of special SE LE parts before it was broken. That was February. March, I went to look at a Toyota MR2 Roadster. This one in the picture. I didn't buy it in the end, but I did go and have a look at the car. Multiple reasons why I didn't buy it, and all will become clear later on in the video what I ended up doing. I did end up buying an MR2 in the end. I got to do some really special, cool stuff with the red arrows. I can't show you too much because a lot of the photographs and videos that I took, I'm not allowed to put on the internet due to security reasons, I guess. But I got to see the engines and I got to see the RAF red arrows up close and personal. I also started stripping this Proton. It's the 1.3 Aero back, and took my Audi A4 B5 for an MOT, another year of gas and trouble-free motoring. I got the Suzuki Swift that I bought ready for sale. Let's do that. You can see it better there. I got the Suzuki Swift ready for sale. There it is. And it left the fleet. I sold it, and then I again started stripping another Proton. Again, you can see what an issue we had with rust on these Protons there. There it is, me giving it its last bez around before it went off to the scrapyard in the sky. Of course, I then went and bought another Proton. Meet Bill. Here's Bill. I travelled all the way north on the train to pick Bill up. Bill was a crime scene, literally. Bill had been vandalised. You can see the scenes of crime, dusting for prints marked here. And I drove Bill all the way home. I did. I drove it like 200 miles all the way home. I got some funny old look. But then that night, I ended up giving Bill a good old clean, and you can see that he's come up lovely there. And I did some work on this Audi A4 B5, one that I rescued from the scrapyard last year now. That was March. Let's take a look at April. April is my birthday, so the 1st of April, Mrs. Jon Coupland and I went to the Parrot Zoo locally, the Lincolnshire Wildlife Park. We had a great time, and I got up close and personal with a white lion. There he is. Of course, no birthday is complete without a caterpillar cake. There's me with my caterpillar cake, celebrating my 30-somethingth birthday. Dad and I went to a local farm to rescue some oat sleepers and ended up breaking his trailer. So you can see here that it actually buckled in the middle. So we had to rebuild Dad's trailer. So that was what happened. And then we rescued Mopcat. Mopcat came from the RSPCA. She'd been left there. You can see in the picture here, Mopcat enjoying the sunshine and making herself at home. So welcome to the family, Mopcat. April continued with me buying a collection of 6 protons. Yes, 6. 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, 6. Much to Mrs. Jon Coupland's dismay. More about these protons coming up. I've got some videos coming up in the new year as well. That is my 6-car proton haul, including my 1.5 SE saloon in white that I have been after for a very long time. You'll see some more of that in just a moment's time, again with this one as well. So that was April. I also got a massive haul of Super Nintendo stuff off Facebook. Cool. And we started our project, which involved me digging up our old path and putting a new path in. And you'll see some more of our project as we go along. Into May, I went and picked up, with the help of JW Recovery, the protons from where we've bought them from. We continued our garden project, put some plant sleepers in and some moon arches, and that job got done. Gave Mrs. Jon Coupland's Fiat 500 a good old detail and a clean, and one of the protons from the 6 proton collection with just a slight suspension issue, as you can see there. I rescued, as part of that 6-car collection, a 1.5 SL, really rare, P-Reg. I think it was P-Reg. Yeah, P-Reg. Oh, sorry, beg your pardon. Oh, I can't see it there. It was a late one. It was a 96. So it was an R-Reg. No, P-Reg. It was a P-Reg. P-Reg SL. Sorry, getting confused. And gave that a good old clean. And you can see there part of the proton collection starting to get a little bit out of hand. I went with some friends to Alton Towers, got kicked off the air ride for being too fat. Great times. So decided to wallow in my own self-pity and buy Mrs. Jon Coupland a Audi TT 180 convertible. There it is, real bog spec, lovely thing. Saw that on eBay. It had got no bids. It was very local. Went round, got it for a ridiculous price, and Mrs. Jon Coupland hated it. Good stuff. One of the protons left the collection from the 6-car fleet, and then this one arrived, my white 1.5 SE. I found a hole in the garden. We found a cistern, Victorian brick-built cistern underneath my garage that was building. And we had another trip to Alton Towers, and I got to ride the Curse of Alton Manor, or the Curse at Alton Manor, for the very first time. It was okay. Bill the Proton then left the fleet. It went to a chap called Craig, who has since done a lot of great work with Bill. And that was May. June continued with me managing to find myself a Proton Laser 2000 EDT diagnostic machine on eBay. Fine. 20 quid. Winner. I did some work with the raw snail van, giving it a blooming good scrub, and I'd fettled it a little bit, putting new mirrors on, and just tidying it up. Mrs. Jon Coupland and I went to the zoo. We had a weekend away. That's not us at the zoo, by the way. That is Elephant's Rears. There's Mrs. Jon Coupland and I at the zoo, and then we took a day trip to Blackpool. We got soaked. We went on the new Valhalla ride. It's my favourite. We hadn't ridden on it since it reopened earlier this year. And there was us getting soaked. It was a P range. I told you it was a P range. The 1.5 SL left the fleet. That went to a guy called Rich. He's now living in Norfolk with a new owner. And I managed to do a review of my friend's Hyundai i30. This is the N line. I think the N line, not the full N. I got to have a good poke around that. The Armstrong Siddeley Lancaster was wheeled out of the garage for recommissioning, and a new distributor was fitted by Dad. Some pussycats decided to climb on top of my Mark 1 MR2. They couldn't hide the evidence in the dust. And my 1.3 GE became famous with Chan, who covered and test drove it on his channel, Morsels and Motors. The inspector enjoyed the heat wave, and the Black Knight went for an MOT prior to the Festival of the Unexceptional 2023. This is brilliant. I managed to convince Dad to pose for some thumbnails ready for some videos. And the news I got really excited about leaked photographs of the Hot Wheels Proton Saga pre-production. Look at that. Brilliant. I got really excited by that in June. July then. And why can't I open that? Open that in photos, please. A Mercedes drove through our local charity shop window, and Mrs. Jon Coupland and I went to the Festival of the Dead 2023, a brand new car show, which was fantastic. Saw Danny from Practical Classics there, and actually ended up with the Armstrong Siddeley, which you can see here, featuring in a magazine of Practical Classics, which was good. We were the only Armstrong Siddeley there. And we had a great time. We met some dodgy-looking folk from the Twitterverse. There they all are. Hello to them. And Dad fixed a surging idle on the Proton in less than 60 seconds, and that video went bonkers. Talking about videos going bonkers, Mrs. Jon Coupland starred in a viral video. I don't have a picture of it here. We'll talk about that in a minute when we scroll through the channel. Getting over 3 million views. And I went to the Baston Classic Car Show, which allowed me to see another Armstrong Siddeley Lancaster in the metal. I hadn't seen another one. And there was a whole load of Armstrong Sidleys there as part of the Armstrong Siddeley Owners Club annual rally. Got to do a bit of a test drive and a look round Dad's Nissan Note, and I saw a SsangYong Rodius. And there's Mrs. Jon Coupland and I again at the Festival of the Dead, having a chat to some people about the Lancaster. I was headhunted, I genuinely was, by the owner of this Nissan Micra, the original owner, who has had it from new, and I fixed a deal to buy that, and that's how we ended July, adding another Nissan Micra to the collection. August. I haven't really got too many photographs to show you here because didn't really my photo system didn't back anything up. I bought a Audi TT in purple, which you'll see later on, and I made the front pages of the Malaysian Metro thanks to Florian Metro. You can see me there. It talks all about the 6-car collection and my love for Proton cars. That was a moment for me, being on the front page of a newspaper. Dad and I had some issues with the Audi TT that I'd purchased, the coupe, the purple one you'll see again in a minute. Here is a still from me in doing the test drive after we fixed the PCV and intake system. September, for some reason, I ended up buying another car. God, blimey, poor Mrs. Jon Coupland. How many cars have I bought this year so far now? I've lost track. This time, a Mark III Toyota MR2, 40-odd thousand miles, a couple of owners, and this one was one that I was really excited about. Thought I'll keep that in the collection. Ended up spending days and days getting it ready for an MOT, and then finding that I was too large for it. So that ended up finding a new home, but I had great fun filming lots of content and doing some work on the Toyota MR2. And I can now say that I have had one and that this one has gone to a good home. Really happy that we've managed to send this one to a good home. Because of the amount of cars that I bought this year, of course, Mrs. Jon Coupland was owed a holiday. We had 2 and a bit weeks in Turkey. We climbed a mountain there. And I met a waiter who owned a Proton. Yeah, he had a Proton persona. He recognised me whilst he was on holiday and said, "John, are you John the Proton man?" I was like, "Yes. How do you know that, Turkish waiter?" And he said, "I follow you. I have Proton. Here, look at my Proton." So we had some fun in the sun. Mrs. Jon Coupland coming down the slide, causing a splash. And then I got to see some more Proton Hot Wheels development. My friend Jamie and I went to Thorpe Park. There's me getting kicked off Colossus for being too fat. Are you spotting a theme at me at theme parks? Too fat to get on the rides. And that was September. October, I got some bits and pieces come through the post from the Royal Snail. What has the Royal Snail lady brought me here? The Proton bloke, absolute legend, close somewhere in Lincolnshire. Yeah, we had great fun filming this. The team at Haggerty UK had sent me some bits and pieces, hats, clothing, mugs, to launch their shop. And their shop is now open, by the way, if you fancy getting yourself some merch. We got Mrs. Jon Coupland's car ready for MOT. We replaced the front suspension arm and some bits and pieces here and there. And then we did a little mini photo shoot with Crystal, the Proton and Pumpkin inspector there, ready for the Halloween season. My friend Robert 3D printed me, I've got it here, 3D printed me a purple Audi TT. It says JC on the bottom. As a first draft, he's going to do me a better one. And we did some more work on Mrs. Jon Coupland's car, including taking the front bumper off and giving it a blooming good scrub. And there it is, head in the hands again, because, well, the purple TT turned out to be a little bit more of a pop than we originally thought. So it was broken again. There was a massive coolant leak. Dad fixing it there. And we did some work on the smart car as well. We had to take the front bumper off to replace headlights. Ridiculous. I went to look at a Proton Satria. This one, a WREG 2000 plate with the Magma engine, the same. It's got the same 1.5, 1.3 litre engine in as the earlier Protons. Didn't end up buying it. And I ended that month, October, finding out about this, the Proton Park Royal. It popped up in Ireland. Somebody told me about it. I got really excited and it had loads of views, that video. Can't talk too much about it because not much is happening. But Mrs. Jon Coupland and I are aiming to go to Ireland in the new year and have a look at the Proton Park Royal. November time was very busy. I unearthed my very first car, my K11 Nissan Micra in flame red. And Dad and I repaired the coolant issue on the Audi TT. It needed a new flange, so we fitted a new flange. And I got to interview and meet the legend that is Mr. Keith Jones, who has over 40,000 brochures. You can see all the brochures here, magazines and bits and pieces. The full interview with him, by the way, is coming to the channel in the new year. Nielsen Chemicals sent me some of their items from their endurance range to test out as part of my car addiction. There's an unboxing video again coming to the channel in the new year, and I've managed to use some of these products on some of the cars, including the Rover that's coming up in a minute. And goodness me, they really are a brilliant piece of kit. So big shout out to the team at Nielsen. He took the Royal Snail for an MOT. There's Dad with his MOT sign and did some more work on the Royal Snail. And I wanted to buy a Proton from a chap. I asked him for some more photographs. And these are the photographs that I got. I didn't buy that Proton. Mrs. Jon Coupland's car also went for an MOT. And I did my very first test drive video, which was the Toyota MR2. And then I gave Dad the bad news that my plan was to restore and bring back to life my very first car, my K11 Nissan Micra, and here's him reacting to looking at the engine bay the first time in about 10 years. I also got to see this wonderful Austin 7 belongs to a friend of mine and my MOT tester. And the channel hit 3,000 subscribers. I started the year with something like 1,000 subscribers, broke the 2,000 subscriber record, got accepted onto the YouTube partnership program earlier this year in March, and hit the 3,000 subscriber figure earlier this month. So I said this month, last month. So thanks ever so much to everybody who has supported the channel. December, oh no, why is it empty? December should be here. Go to my downloads. Here it is. Here's December. I bought a Rover 75. I was contacted by Philip about his Rover 75. He said, "John, do you want to take it off my hands?" And of course, I said yes. We gave the inspector a bath. She looks terrified there. Ready for Christmas. I got to see some nacreous clouds, also known as mother of pearl clouds, which was a really rare phenomenon, and that was on Christmas Eve. And that was a real magical moment. That it really put everything into perspective. I know it sounds ridiculous, but seeing that was beautiful. Highlight of my year. Spending obviously Christmas with Mrs. Jon Coupland, the inspector, Daisy Cat, and Mop Cat was also wonderful. We took the inspector for a beautiful Boxing Day walk locally in the smart car in the back end of Lincolnshire. Here's me with my Rover 75 again. Fantastic video response. So many people are a fan of the Rover 75. I gave it a wash. And ended 2023 by being sent some wonderful things by some followers. Not Posh Pete. Pete Kent sent me not only an MR2, but the Hot Wheels Proton Saga. What a way to end 2023. But there's been a bit of a rebrand on the channel this morning. It went live this morning. I've changed the channel name to Jon Coupland Cars, Adventures and More, because it is just more than cars. It's Mrs. Jon Coupland and I doing some adventures, bits and pieces in my life, the inspector, work that we do at home. But also I didn't want to stray too far away from the fact that the main thing on it is cars. So many videos hit the channel this year. I will just quickly flip through them before we end this video. There's so much still to come. Genuinely, I'm filmed right up until February. I've started to rebrand again all my thumbnails as well, so it's got this sort of style. But yeah, Rover 75, fleet updates, holiday stuff, MOTs, so much. Well, checked out this Proton Wirra. We appeared on BBC Radio Lincolnshire. Let's have a look at Mrs. Jon Coupland going viral. Where is she? With her Proton video. It went absolutely bonkers, and quite rightly so, because she is an absolute star. Genuinely, everybody who has... I can't find the video. Genuinely, to everybody who has watched the channel this year, who has supported me, followed me on Twitter, who has subscribed, liked, shared, commented, been involved, tagged me in stuff, sent me stuff. Thank you. You are all absolute legends. I don't intend on slowing down in 2024. There's so much to come. We've covered that in another video. I'm not going to talk about that now. But there is so much to come in 2024. I'm humbled, genuinely. I hope you enjoyed this quickish roundup of 2023, and I will have to count up just how many cars we managed to buy, restore, save, keep on the road for 2023. Thanks to Mrs. Jon Coupland. She is my enabler. She keeps me on the straight and narrow. Thanks to her. Thanks to the inspector for being the best dog in the world, and of course thanks to Dad, because Dad is the star of the show, and I think you'll agree Dad is the star. Tomorrow, the 1st of January, I'm taking the Rover 75 to Dad's. We're going to take the head off. We're going to look at the engine, and we're going to get Dad's first reaction to the car. That will be on the channel if it's not already. Happy New Year to everybody, each and every one of you. I wish you health, wealth, and happiness in 2024. Thanks for watching. Take care. You're an absolute legend. Bye-bye.